City of Saratoga Springs, Tuesday, September 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Present tonight, I have Councilwoman Barton, Councilwoman Comber, Wilden, Karn, and Wadman. So we do have a quorum this evening. Councilman Wadman has volunteered for our moment of reflection. And then I have Councilman McComber for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father in heaven, we are truly grateful to be here together as a council, as a staff, as citizens, and we are truly grateful for the bounty thou hast given us, especially at this time where we recognize that civility is an effort and not just given, and we ask that we can maintain that spirit tonight as we make decisions and as we hear people and as we listen and move this city in the direction that thou would have us move it in. We ask you to please be with those that represent us in the fire and the city and the police and also those that give us our parks and the order that we have in building this community out with the staff. We thank you for their efforts, and we thank you for the efforts of the citizens here to make this a place that we can call home. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Will the audience please rise and join me in repeating the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Okay, public input. Time has been set aside for the public to express ideas, concerns for subject matter not listed on the agenda. Please be respectful in your comments. Please avoid repetitive comments. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. We've set aside a total of 15 minutes for public input. Is anybody here for public input? If so, please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Heather Norton, and my address 3241 South Holloway. So I am here because I live near Sage Hills Elementary, and in South Saratoga. I moved there, and like several other homeowners, we were told there would be this wonderful park built soon, and I found out a lot of those homeowners were told that maybe 10 plus years ago, and there were plans on the website, and I think they've since been taken down. I'm just coming here because I'm wondering what the status is on the building of that park out. And I have some thoughts as to why I think that would be a really important thing to make it more of a priority. But can I say them now, or should I wait for talk?
So this isn't normally for public input. We can have staff look at it and bring it back in a future staff report.
We don't respond.
We don't respond,
I
sorry.
apologize. This is my first time here.
Sorry, I'm taking notes and I should have.
Okay, thank you. So just my thoughts and some neighbors' thoughts that I've spoken to. I live on Holloway. That road wraps down next to the school. It's very busy at the time that my kids and other children walk to the school. It's actually not safe because parents park along that street and kids walk in and out of those cars. So along with having a wonderful park and for the community to spend time at, it would also be a safer option for children to walk to school through the park instead of going down Holloway. Also, it could be another option for pickup. Because it's an overcrowded school, it'd be another option for parents to pick up their children there. And also to help alleviate some traffic of the North Saratoga because we'd have more of a public area in South Saratoga. But really, just a safer place and more community options for children. So we're all hoping that happens soon, and thank you for listening. That's my baby, sorry.
Thank you. What? Yeah. Mark, can you have somebody on staff connect and then give us a report in next week or next council meeting in administration?
There's a lot of history there, so the staff will bring you up to speed.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else for public input? Seeing none, I will close the public input at this time. Any reports from the council? Councilman Wadman?
So I had the opportunity to go up to Camp Williams this last weekend for the battalion, friends and family. Very impressed. Very impressed with not only those people that volunteered to give their time but the freedoms we enjoy and the opportunities we have to participate in that are amazing. And I hope you guys know, if you haven't, when you drive on Redwood Road, what you're driving through a Camp Williams where people are trained, they learn life skills, but they also make it so that we're safer. And I want to give publicly thank Camp Williams for everything they do for us. They're a great neighbor. We've got lots of rewards just from being in their shadow or in their presence. So anyway, I just want to make that public.
Thank you. Any other from the council? Councilman McComber?
I just want to thank the residents of Saratoga Springs for all these years when we've disagreed or when we've had arguments or when we were completely at odds on different issues, that there was always a sense of civility and decorum. And I honestly can say that I had some scares through my 16 years on the city council. I had people put things on my doorstep and different things, but I never felt like my life was at risk. And I just want to thank the residents of Saratoga Springs for being good citizens, good people, and just genuinely caring about what's important, but then not take it too far. And so I just wanted to make sure that was said. And I appreciated Councilmember Wadman's in his reverence, a sense of civility and maintaining that sense of civility. And as you go on as a city, when I'm on that side of the dais, I sure hope that that continues. So thank you very much.
Any other council? If not, Mark, administration?
No, Mayor, and there's no need for a city closed session this evening.
Okay. Any update on the pond?
Oh, yes, Mayor, thank you so much. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, we received word that the pond up in Wander was completed and has now been opened to the Wander HOA that is there. We got some pictures yesterday, and it looks fantastic. People are already using it, so a big shout out to them. I know it was a long, hard process for the developer to kind of get all the pieces to come together. As was requested earlier this year by the council, they've been following up with us, sending us weekly updates and giving us those follow-ups as things have been progressing.
It's the one they've been sending to the residents and they've been sending to us because we
Correct.
asked them to do that.
Correct, yeah. So I think it's come together, and so, Mayor, thank you very much for reminding me. We talked about that last night, and so I think it looks great, and congratulations to.
Except the dog park?
I think the dog park's got a few more things.
I think, yeah,
Yeah, it's close.
it's close.
Putting the
Yeah.
bathroom in at the dog park, but
Yeah.
everything else open. That's fantastic.
So,
But,
anyway, thank you.
okay, thank you, Mark. Civic Events Day of Service.
Mayor and Council, I'm excited to come tonight and report on our 9/11 Day of Service we had last week. Saratoga Springs has a long history of coming together in an emergency, whether that's a flood or fire or responding when we see a neighbor in need, but we are also very proactive and look for ways to make our community better together. As the civic events, our little department, we feel this responsibility greatly. One of our goals is to create a place that people want to be, whether that's at an event or a service project or one of the other programs that we run. We really strive to create times that families and neighbors can come together for learning, for growth, for service, for fun, and we believe you can do that all together. So tonight, I just wanted to give you a little snapshot of some of the highlights of our day of service. We had over 2,000 people participate, and some of those numbers are still coming in. So I imagine that will go up. And we had over 3,000 hours of service given on September 11th. That does not include the projects and collections that led up to that day. One of our projects was the Birthday Box Project, which we put together over 300 boxes that contained basically a birthday in a box, and those go to Primary Children's Hospital, to the homeless shelter, to Tabitha's Way, and to individual families who request them from the Birthday Box Foundation. So that looks like 300 of each of the items in there donated ahead of time. That's thousands of hours of putting them together, wrapping boxes, things like that. We had over 70 hours from our public works staff who helped out at the different parks locations. They had their entire staff working that night. They told me today they took over 3,040 pounds of trash collected to the dump today from that one day of service. And it's hard to measure and give exact numbers of the impact that this has, but in multiple locations, we saw toddlers working alongside their parents and their grandparents. And this generational project and learning and growth together will continue to make our community stronger. Those kids will remember what they did, and when they go to the park, they'll be the one picking up the paper. They'll be telling their friend to get out of the tree, to quit making a mess. We're just so thrilled with how that has all come together. So tonight, I want to recognize our 9/11 Day of Service Committee. These people, some are here with me tonight. They've given over 400 hours this year to plan these projects. There's no way we could do this without an amazing group of volunteers. This looks like the Birthday Box Foundation. Here, go ahead and stand up, you guys. The Birthday Box Foundation family, our Just Serve representatives, our community, I get all nervous. The Communication Council members, Joylyn Lincoln with the school board, Angela Okada, who was like the ringleader of this group. We're going to have them come up here and take a picture with you guys, but I just want you to know that this is why this works. It's not because my little staff does all this amazing work. It is these guys giving their volunteer hours. They come at night, and we meet starting about in March. They give their time in the evenings to come and help plan these projects. And this year, something new that they added, their idea, they sent out a survey in the spring and let people nominate different projects that we would not have thought about, needs that we would not have known about. And so that is how we got in touch with the Birthday Box Foundation, the Harvest Community Garden, different things like that. So I just want to thank them for their service and let you give them a thank. Can you all come up to the front, please? Come up to the front. I didn't warn them they were having their picture taken.
While they're coming up, I just want to say, I've literally 20 minutes ago, I said to Council Barton, I said, volunteers is what makes this city great, and this is a perfect example of it.
Don't put lamps behind those guys.
You can go to the side.
Just Angela and Joylyn in the middle. Angela and Joylyn, why don't you trade places with Summer?
There we go.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again for all your work. So we invite you to come back next year for our service project. It will be probably on the Wednesday or Thursday. I think 9/11's on Friday next year. So we would love to have you join us. And if you see of other projects that need assistance throughout the year, just let me know, and we would love to add them to our project.
Before the birthday box people leave, I just want to give them a quick shout out. I cry every time I talk up here, I cry about something. So I just learned about them last year at the gala that our chamber put on. And for me, my parents were foster parents for 30 plus years and adopted 5 children out of foster care. And I was a foster parent myself as well. And so a lot of there's that kind of, not only, as Corinne was saying, not only for kids in that situation, but also families that have been laid off or something like that. So for me, and ever since then, it's been like a big part of me. Like, I've told my family all about it and stuff like that, because it just hit so close to home for me, because these kids really, like, every kid loves a birthday. Well, I love my birthdays too, right? Everybody loves a birthday. And so it was just an ingenious idea, and I was so proud of it as just being a resident of this area. that you guys started this. So thank you for that. Again, to have somebody be recognized on have fun on their birthday is a big deal. Doesn't matter, where you're at or whatever, you feel special if somebody recognizes your birthday and you get even a few gifts. So I just want to shout that out because it's been something that I've been thinking about since I first learned about you guys last year. I think it's such an incredible thing that you guys are doing, and please keep it up. Let us know. Again, like Corinne said, we want to be a part of that. So, and then again, thank you to all our volunteers as well. Like Michael said, it's the heart of our city, and we have the best volunteers here that I've ever seen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Jim, can I say? So Corinne, so next year is 25 years. Are we going to do anything different or for 25 years, or is there going to be, have we even talked about that?
We haven't talked about it quite yet. We'll probably do a combination because we're also celebrating the American 250.
Right, 250.
So there will probably be
Perfect.
a
Okay.
combination.
I think that, you mentioned maybe doing it a different day. I think that you should still just do it on 9/11 because there's a reason.
Yeah, it's tricky
And I
because
think
Friday nights
I know it's a
hard,
Friday
so-
night, but
yeah.
I think people would still show up. And in fact, I think they might show up even more.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have work and school the next day. So I don't think you need to worry about it too much because it's more about the day of service because we don't allow other people to dictate how we act in this country.
Yeah. And I didn't mention this, but we had multiple people stop us and tell us how, because of the timing of last week's events, how coming together as a community, you're going to make me cry too, how we really needed something positive to do that day. And really the positive, getting together for something positive and rebuilding so we aren't just thinking about the destruction or the hard things in our life is so important. And that is really why we chose to honor 9/11 with a huge service project, basically. So it is so important, and it really does heal and strengthen our community. So thank you for supporting that.
Thanks. Okay, I will entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes.
Made.
I'll second.
I have a first from Carn, second from Councilman McComber. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. First item tonight is the major site plan amendment for Saratoga Springs Commercial Plat F.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The application that is before you tonight is a major site plan amendment for Lot 607, which is right across the street. It is for the end unit, which is to be Sephora. During a tenant improvement building permit review by staff, we noticed that the exterior of the building did not match the approved site plan, and therefore we required them to do a major site plan amendment because our code requires a major site plan amendment when it deals with elevation architecture. The changes to this site plan, it was approved back in October, if you remember that, and the effects you can see in your staff report. The previous approved version is up there in the corner, and then what the tenant has asked for is there on the end. When we reviewed the site plan, originally, we reviewed the colors and materials based on all of the elevations, not just the individual tenant spaces, and therefore the change is actually quite minor. It's 2% of the material from the previous. It actually, the white is, it's called Moonlight, the EFS. It is, previously it was 25%, now, 3%, and now it is 22%. And then the black was 2%, it is now 6%. So those were the changes. Nothing else changed, as you can see. Those are the differences. With that, the Planning Commission did review this and recommended approval.
Comments from the council? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Wadman?
So there's one, just going through it. There's the 3 feet, so the pending ordinance, the proposed change of grade would increase the elevation for non-residential. Is there going to be a big between the residential grade and where this building is? It's just,
So
Read through
it's
it.
not adjacent to any residential zone,
okay,
so that wouldn't,
so the pending ordinance doesn't
correct,
apply
This is
here.
back on.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
It's by Home Depot.
yeah, but I was just, okay.
Okay, I move to approve business item 1, major site plan amendment for Saratoga Springs Commercial Plat F, Lot 607, located at 1233 Lake Drive. Thomas Leinhardt, Westlake Partners LLC as applicant, with any staff findings and conditions.
Second.
First from Councilman Carn,
Second.
second from Councilwoman Barton. Any further discussion? Wadman?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Comber?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks. We have business item 2, site plan for Spring Cove, located at 249 East Thrive Drive.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Let's see, right slide up here. So we do have the applicant here. I'm going to invite them to come up in case you have any questions on this one.
Perfect.
So this is a site plan. It is located in the Gateway Overlay, and it's in the mixed-use zone.
If you just want to have a seat at that
You can-
applicant
yeah, just
table
sit
there.
over, guys, yeah. So, the property here is located just off of Pioneer Crossing. It's off of Thrive, also just off of Thrive Drive. It's kind of in between the two there. You can see it indicated with the star. So this property is going to be a combination of office and retail, medical, and takeout restaurant. That's kind of the proposed uses on this property. You can see 3 buildings. They do meet the parking requirements and landscaping requirements. One thing to note is the south side of this property, which you see here on the screen, the bottom of the screen here, is encumbered by an easement, a sewer easement, and another easement. And so their options as far as landscaping and whatnot is kind of limited down there. They can't plant anything, they can't build anything in there. And so they do show basically a drive aisle that goes around, wraps around the building. But for that reason, you don't see any trees because you can't plant any trees in that easement. These are the elevations. This is what the buildings look like. It's primarily a brick material, and then lots of glass. And then building B, and then building C. So there's 3 different buildings, building C being the biggest. And then here's some colored renderings of what these buildings look like. And these do meet all of our gateway overlay and standard architectural requirements. And here's a picture of the lighting plan. They do meet our lighting standard here, adequate lighting for all the parking. And then this is the landscaping plan here. And you can see how they've done that. Now, on this landscaping plan, they did add some benches and some streetscape features on the west side of the property to comply with the gateway overlay. And that is everything I have.
Anything from the applicant before we start a discussion, or you just ready to answer questions?
I can give my 2 cents. So my name is Toph Tribe, and I'm here from Gould Plus Architects as part of the design team. Just a couple of things of note. These units that will be in these spaces will all be condoed, and the intent is to be able to give ownership to the individuals who will be occupying the spaces, to give local individuals opportunities to have ownership of their own space and create more of a community feeling, give an opportunity for the local economy to stay local. And we've seen a lot of success in other cities utilizing this process. We've seen a lot of small, like barbershops, mom and pop type retail stores, as well as like medical offices come into spaces like this. So that's kind of the goal, as well as design-wise, the brick utilized matches the brick that is across the street at the bank on the corner there, as well as the metal paneling and the glazing. And the hope is to create that gateway campus feeling as you come into Saratoga Springs, to have a cohesive design as you're coming along Pioneer Crossing. So yeah, please, ask me any questions. I'll do my best to answer.
Okay, Councilman Comber, you had a question, and Councilman Carn?
Yeah, so just want to check with staff, like, so using the multiple different materials, they meet that?
They do,
Because
yeah.
it seems very monochromatic to me, but.
So yeah, one of the main things that they're doing here is they do utilize a lot of glass. So on the bottom left there, you can see it's a large glass kind of grand entryway on that building there. And
But does
then,
glass, that doesn't meet the requirement for the materials, Sarah, I don't believe. Like the number of different material types on the building, glass doesn't meet that, because glass is windows.
yeah, so,
Based on the percentage that we decided. So there is a certain percentage required. I think what we did in this case with the amount of glass that they're proposing was above above the requirement, because there's quite a bit of glass there.
So you gave them credit for the extra glass to be an extra material, instead of requiring an extra material.
Right.
But that's not how our code is written. You just decided to do that?
Well, it's definitely up for discussion.
Yeah.
It's something the applicant wanted us to consider.
Yeah, because the whole point is that it creates a sense of depth when you have the different materials, because we have the vertical elevation difference, and then we also have the in and out, so the depth. And so you lose a lot of that kind of when your columns and stuff are the same exact material as the other. I mean, I think you maybe heard, I've been doing this for 16 years, and almost every building in Saratoga Springs, other than Walmart, I've pretty much had some kind of conversation on. And so I just am concerned because I appreciate the glass for sure, but I also just worry about that monochromatic because there's a lot of other people who, we had another company come in recently, I won't name the company, so I usually do out them, who requested a very monochromatic look, and we pushed back on them, a business for that, because of that. My other thing is this is at the entrance, and so it does meet all of the enhanced architectural standards for the gateway overlay. And then, but we also have in there that if you're at the very beginning of the city, that you have to leave space for monument. And I don't see where we've done that, because I think this is the furthest east, correct?
Well, there is property in between the road and the lot already, that's city property, that's city property.
Okay, so I definitely want to make sure that we're considering that, because we're on Crossroads Boulevard, Lehigh Main Street, which turns into Crossroads Boulevard. That development, the corner, they preserve space for the monument that we're doing because it's the entrance to the city. And that is in the monument overlay, is that they need to work with the city and preserve space for monuments. And so if we could definitely look into that and make sure that that's being met. And so I hope that when we do the motion, we just put a condition that that is reviewed and make sure that is met. I don't want to hold it up for that, but just making sure that that is a condition that has to be fulfilled, that just needs to be double checked, that we have left space for that if necessary. And then my last thing is, and maybe this is maybe more for our city manager, Mark, but I don't want to pull off what other cities nearby have done with Pioneer Crossing. Does this meet the freeway cross-section?
The expected widening would go to the south. So it would not be pushing further north at this location.
For all the alignments that UDOT has been talking, I just want to make sure that we're
Yeah.
not having to
No.
come back and buy buildings.
Thank you.
Especially from residents if we're condoing them.
Yeah, it's a great question, but I'm turning on that layer right now to just take a double check of
Okay,
it. But
so I just think, again, maybe in the conditions is that, that the long-term freeway cross-section preservation has been evaluated. Don't get me wrong, I love the product, I love what you're talking about with the condoing of it. I have seen that done in other places. I think it will be one of the first we've done in Saratoga Springs, if not the first. And it does create more local business, which a lot of our residents have been asking for, giving them an opportunity to compete in the brick and mortar space and not have to build and bear the entire burden of the cost, but using the economies of scale of a developer to be able to do all three buildings. So that's fantastic. And don't get me wrong, I think the buildings look great. I just want to make sure that they are meeting our code, because I will have other companies come back and say, you treated me differently, and I can't have that. I know potential lawsuits or even future business coming down the road. So it's nothing about what you guys have created and designed, because I actually do quite like it. I just want to make sure that it meets code, and if it doesn't, then we need to make an exception. And then that's different. We have to make an exception to code, which I don't like doing, but I would be willing if needed. So thank you, Mayor, for my time.
Councilman Carn?
Yeah, just wanted to comment on the architecture. I think it looks really good. I like it. I do have a question. Since you're going to be condoing these, are you actually writing in your CCNRs that these have to be locally owned businesses? Or when someone comes from a national chain and wants to take that drive-through, are you talking to them?
So purely square footage wise, national chains like to have their own spaces and they like a little bit more space. So we tried to design it as intentionally as possible to make it plausible for that to be a local space. But as the developer from the back in the room stated, CCNR will not include a clause that it needs to be a local business.
Okay, so you're
A coffee shop can go in there, that's.
I'm developer. I'm here with, and I'll help out with a couple of these questions. No, that's not going to be in the HOA or the CCNRs, that local people have to do that. However, we've done this project in Draper and PG, in Bountiful, or Woods Cross area, and they're, with this small a space, usually no, like, regional type companies don't ever come in and buy. They want to lease their normally, and pretty much with all probably 60 units that we've sold off, they're all local businesses and local people. So the majority will be, with the history will be more local people, accountants, people running businesses doing that, but no.
No, I don't get me wrong, I love the idea. We get accused every week of, why don't we have more locally owned stuff? And we're not up here opening businesses, so.
You can't.
Yeah, so if you're giving more local opportunity, I think it's great.
And we'll take credit when it happens.
Yeah, well, I'm anxiously waiting to, optimistic that local businesses will come in and take these spots, and it'll be a thriving business here, so.
Also, when you say local, locals are normally the people that are buying the franchises from the regional.
Understood.
And then that is also the economy kind of staying here.
No, I get that. When you see a local franchisee, say a chicken place,
Yeah,
they live here in Saratoga, but people don't say that's a local business,
yeah.
even though it's a local franchisee, right? It's perception.
But it's purchased, managed, and
100% understand.
money still flows through the
Yep.
local economy.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. This is a great product. I think it'll look nice next to what's existing there.
Thank you.
Other questions? Councilwoman Barton?
Just a quick one. So just for you guys kind of, and Sarah, if it needs to be or whatever, so when it comes to what Councilmember McCumber was talking about, so is it, I'm just wondering why it didn't come, I mean, I know why, because of the glass and stuff like that, but would it be hard to make it meet our standards? Like what, on your guys' side of it, is it just more expensive, or is it you don't like the color of it, or you don't like the design if you standards that we have in place? What's the?
Yeah, so I'd like to clarify two
yeah,
things
great.
really quick.
Yeah.
So first, our code doesn't doesn't say that glass cannot be a material. So there's nowhere in our code that it says that they can't use that as a material. In this instance, they did choose to use it as a material. That was redlined. That was a comment from our staff saying, hey, what's going on here? We don't see 75, we don't see a multitude of materials. And so they said the glass is a material. We reviewed our code. Upon review, it doesn't there's no clear code that we can hang our hat on per se to say, hey, you can't do that. You can't say glass is not a material.
So we say you can't use glass, but we don't say you can either.
It's not
Our
specified.
code doesn't say that.
They say.
We do have in our code what glass percentage you have to have on the building.
That's correct.
Because we treat glass separately.
Correct.
I mean, inherently, we are treating it separately because we treat glass as one thing and materials as another. So it doesn't say either way, but we do treat glass differently. So.
Glass has additional standards, and this property, because it is in the gateway overlay, they had to, go above 50% glass on these buildings, and they did do that. They had to, make some architectural changes to their plans, which were significant. to comply with that. So, and they did do that. So, and then the other thing I wanted to point out, as far as the monument sign goes, there is a large monument sign adjacent to this property that says, "Welcome to Saratoga Springs." And so it's just,
That will be there in a year.
will it not be there in a year? Is there a plan to? Right, when it widens, that sign could be relocated, and that would have to be looked at
Saratoga Springs.
at that time.
North side of, it doesn't say welcome to, it just says Saratoga Springs, but.
It'll still be there, though. That won't get affected by widening. Widen south.
Yeah, it goes south, and there's still the UDOT property there in front of us, between us.
The sign there, is covered with the sign there.
Correct.
Thanks. I appreciate you clarifying.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Also, one last thing with it says in your code that one material cannot be more than 75%, where even removing the glazing, that is still, what is it?
And they do have metal, so there is a materials breakdown on their drawings. as
Yeah, I
well.
saw that, yeah.
So it does break down the percentage of brick, metal, and glazing. The facade with the most brick is the rear facade, and that is 73%, so we are meeting no more than 75% on material. And then they do have glass and glazing that are, glass is glazing, metal and glazing that they're counting as,
What is the metal? The metal or the awnings?
No, there's the metal,
There's,
That's for,
let me go to the
they're on the
elevator.
little pop-outs on the side.
See that pop,
That-
yeah, that pop out on the right, top right?
Like a header.
there are.
No, it's a lot more than a header, that's like a full,
You see this one here,
like,
and it's surrounded by metal, there is a pop out and windows, and then there's metal, and then this as well, that's metal.
Yeah, they're nice looking buildings. I wasn't saying that they weren't. They do look nice, yeah.
The black part, how much does that
That meets my
stick
concern.
out?
Yeah.
It's
Off the
very
top of your
hard to
head?
see in the pictures that were provided.
On the top right,
Yeah.
To see the metal versus the.
15 feet, yeah.
yeah.
That's a
So
good,
that pop-out on the building that's right there in the front, it's not just like a little like header, it pops out 15 feet, 15, 20 feet, and it goes across the whole entire building. So it's like a full,
I just.
Architectural.
You couldn't really see the metal versus the glass in the pictures. 'cause
That's
they were
helpful.
very dark, so I appreciate
Yeah.
that extra.
That's great.
I'm fine then.
yeah, I apologize, I should have done bigger pictures because they're so tiny, like it's hard to see. so.
Explaining it worked great.
Yep, okay, thank you.
okay, if there's no more questions, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve business item 2 as stated on the agenda, including all staff findings and conditions.
I have a first from Councilman Wilden,
Second.
second from Councilman Wadman. Any further discussion? Carn,
Aye.
Wilden.
Aye.
Barton.
Aye.
Comber.
Aye.
Wadman.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And those in the audience, it was confirmed that the freeway will not impact these buildings and they will not have to tear them down. I want that on the record because if it does get turned down, I want to be like, I was told it wouldn't.
we'll just own all those ones, you gotta come buy them from us. No.
Just want to caveat that, plans sometimes change, but based on the plans we have now.
Right now, we will not tear any of them down.
Are you saying that's happening within the year?
No.
Well, no, they're widening right now.
They're doing flex lanes on Pioneer Crossing this year.
They're doing a third lane with a fourth lane down the middle.
Oh, yeah, because I've seen plans like with
It's
like overpass.
Yeah.
That is
That's
the
like-
freeway.
I'm like, I heard that's years out, though.
It's a Utah fiscal
2075,
year,
just
so
kidding.
2 to 3 decades.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2075, right?
I promise you though, in our experience, when they say 10 years, it's 3. When they say 20, it's 9.
Well, they're getting better now. Thank you.
With our
guys.
growth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next item, business 3, naming of a park located along the Jordan River.
Good evening again. We have the naming of the riverfront, or the Wander Village 3 Park. As you know, you recently approved the village plan amendment for Village 3, and the park plan was included in that village. Let's get here. So, oh, where did it go? Okay, well, this is not the version.
Park all along the river.
Yeah.
Councilman Carn,
I
you had
had it
a,
in my
Well, I just
slide,
have a comment. When
different,
okay.
That's what it looks like in a snowstorm.
I don't know what happened. So anyways, we put it back to the Parks Department to give us a list of park names that would be appropriate with the amenities and that will go with the Wander Village 3 Park. And those names are the River Walk Park at Saratoga Springs, Birdview Park. Okay, there we go. Birdview Park, Timpanogos View Trail, or Saratoga River Front Park. And we ask that you review those names and either pick one of those or select a different official name for the Wander Park.
Okay, Chris, you had,
Well, I was wanted to weigh in first. I'm partial to the Riverwalk. I don't even know if it needs park at Saratoga Springs, but I like the Riverwalk or the Riverwalk Park, either way.
I do like that one as well. One thing that came to my mind that I thought would be nice, because it is a walking park, is the original name of this development was Jordan Promenade. And then you're giving tribute to the Jordan River that is there. And then it is also walking, so the Jordan Promenade Park was a thought that I had. I wish that they would have kept the name of the whole development that way versus Wander, but if not Jordan Promenade, my second choice would be Riverwalk without park.
Is that all the,
Without the word park.
And
just
without
Riverwalk.
Saratoga in there, yes.
And the Riverwalk.
yeah, I like the river. That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I like a
So
lot.
I like Jordan Promenade just because promenade is to walk. And it's going to be very nice. We're going to have statues here. We're going to have monuments. It's going to be it's going to be where we're going to have the arts fairs, like the art festivals are going to be here. And so, but yeah, that's my two bits.
my 2 bits would be, I like Riverwalk, but I still like the city's name in it, so Saratoga Riverwalk, which is neither of those 4 answers.
We don't put Saratoga, though, in Neptune and Patriot.
This one's gonna be kind of a unique art
Yeah.
gathering. If we're gonna
Yeah.
host events there, it's like, I want people to know it is in Saratoga.
Yeah.
I wanted the Wilden Walk Park.
That has a really good ring to it.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, the applicant is here if you wanted to just talk to him.
I will, are we discussing this a little bit?
Yeah.
I actually kind of like Jordan Promenade. Not actually kind of, that sense like I hate it, but because it brings in more of an artsy feel, if that's really what we're using it for, because it's a little bit fancier of a name. But I don't mind Riverwalk either. I think they're both great. So I don't want to make that. I like both of them.
I was very partial to the Riverwalk, but I like the Saratoga Springs because when you're in this area, sometimes people don't recognize that you're Saratoga Springs and I like the Saratoga Springs Riverwalk. That's my vote.
What about the Riverwalk
At Saratoga.
at Saratoga Springs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then that way.
I like
because
that sound better.
Signs will say that.
Riverwalk?
People will just say the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
But when they get there, they'll see Saratoga Springs on the sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
I'd go with that.
Yeah.
All right.
And Riverwalk has some good connotations nationwide.
It does. Comments from applicant?
I don't live in the city, but the company is relatively agnostic to the.
Did you come up with Birdview Park?
No, I had nothing to do with that one. That was my least favorite for what it's
Brother did
worth.
that, I think. He's a bird weirdo.
I think Wilden Walk would have been a fantastic name as well.
My daughter's an ornithologist and wannabe, so she would think that would be the greatest name ever.
Well, it sounds like we may have a consensus.
You want me to try it?
Yep, I will.
Okay, I'll try. I move to approve the name, the Riverwalk at Saratoga Springs. For the Wander Riverfront City Park located along the Jordan River between Pioneer Crossing and Pony Express Parkway.
Okay, I have
I'll
a first from Councilman Carn, second from Councilman McComber. Any further discussion?
You might need to state the resolution. That's the agenda.
Okay.
R2546.
R2546.
And I'll
Dated
my
today.
sec- And amend my
Amended first, amended second. Any further discussion? Wadman?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Comber? Barton?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
I did like Jordan Promenade.
I'm excited for that, by the way. It's gonna be Great addition.
And we wouldn't have been able to name
Okay.
this that park because we don't name them after neighborhoods.
Oh.
Well, it's the, make sure the is there.
No, you aren't.
The Riverwalk.
Really?
No, that's out of
I think one word. Riverwalk, one word.
I don't know.
Is
Kevin,
Riverwalk
what do
one
you,
word?
We have it as 2 words in here. Do you want it to be 2 words?
I think one word, Riverwalk.
I'm fine with whatever. Do I gotta specify that?
Depends if we want it to be a river walk or a river.
it, or, you know, but.
We've got Appaloosa spelled wrong, so.
2 words.
2 words.
2 words.
2 words.
2 words.
The river walk,
Yes.
3 words.
Yes.
River Walk
At
at
Saratoga.
Saratoga Springs.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Just so you know, I checked San Antonio and it's 2 words.
Business item 4, amendments to Title 19 Land Development Code.
Okay, council, we have two basically cleanup provisions for the code affecting 2 of our overlays. One is to actually create a new overlay, a schools overlay. We did that when we were looking earlier at some of the proposals for some of our schools. We thought we might do some amendments to the permitted uses in the zone which schools currently reside in, which is the piece, or the IC zone. The institutional civic zone is where we have schools currently categorized. However, there were some concerns about all the types of permitted uses that schools could be made available to, and so we created something that would fit better with the current state code for schools, rather than creating a new zone or amending our zones, that an overlay placed upon the current school locations would provide more guidance and permitted use opportunity just specifically for schools. So let's see. Yeah, so to allow for and expand upon public or private school uses, provide reference to provisions of Utah State Code, and provide a list of permitted uses. So that's what our school overlay is for. And then here's a list of those permitted uses specifically stated within the school overlay. Some of them that we had some concern with previously were fitness centers, recreation centers. The only ones that would be permitted are those as listed here as associated with a school. And then the other proposed overlay amendment is for the gateway overlay, the parking. And so we had,
Ken, on that last one, the last list, bus lots, we just strike that.
okay,
Because they are an industrial, and then we can treat bus lots differently based on state code. We did that before. And we
Yeah.
can't have them taking property that they have, which is school, and then have them add more bus lots.
Yeah, and fundamentally, this is a proposal. This is your ordinance, council. So if there's any other uses on there that you're concerned about, potentially, that you don't want to include in there, feel free to strike those out.
I'm fine with the bus lot in the right zone, but an overlay zone in a neighborhood is not where a bus yard should be.
And a refueling station should be at their bus storage facility, because they have refueling stations on there, private.
Oh.
I don't think we should be having big, huge tanks underground or propane tanks in the middle of a neighborhood on Grandview and Harvest Boulevard, where buses can go and get refueled, when that's what they should be doing at the bus yard or the bus lot. I'm looking through the list. I was looking at it the other day when I was reviewing the pack, and I didn't see anything else that really overly impacted me, because the temporary use trailers, I mean, we overcrowd our schools, they have to have those. But it was those 2 things, the fueling
But do you want those to be temporary, or do you want them to be allowed permanent?
No, temporary, because this is temporary uses, trailers, portables, prefabricated manufactured building. And so, and then define temporary, because I think they've been in there, some of them have been there 10 years, 12 years.
Saratoga Shores had a trailer since the date opened.
Right.
Because they started.
And so,
Started in that trailer.
and so we should have parameters, like that's temporary, 3 school seasons, whatever it might be, or the time it takes to build another school or whatever. But this is the time for us to really be doing this, because with the new school district coming, it would be better if it's very clear for them and know what those expectations are.
Wait, are we putting a limit on how long, are we trying to put a limit on how long we can have those temporary trailers?
Right.
The ones that are housing our students right now?
Well, forcing the school districts to
Well,
build
this
more.
is just saying temporary's there. We'd
We're
have to
saying
define
temporary is there,
temporary
but define
elsewhere.
temporary, because right now they're not.
It's permanent.
So if we wanted to take temporary and just say you can have trailers
I don't feel good
forever,
about saying we go on for 3 years, because I don't feel like that will ever happen out here.
so the thing is you take it away, then it's just, we just need to be okay with them always being permanent, but then they'll never build more schools, they'll just add more and more trailers.
They don't anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just.
That's why we got a new school district.
Like H, a public building or facility county-owned excluding waste or water treatment, jail or detention center.
No.
I don't think that that's probably one you
Is
need
that on
there.
there? I
No,
didn't see that.
yeah,
That's H. So again, there are some questions.
What
that-
about instead of having temporary on the trailers, we say a percentage of your classroom space being temporary? Because what's gonna keep the school district from having 40 trailers and taking all the grass and not having any place for the kids to play because they have all trailers?
So again, I just get a little nervous because right now, like, obviously, I mean, even with the new school district, we're still gonna be behind building schools. That's just the reality of living out here. Right, and so if we put a thing on it, they're not gonna build schools faster just because we put a limit on how long they can have the trailers there, right? And so for me,
Okay,
like, we have to house our students, and I feel like,
so we're giving
The
them an out.
question, I guess, from one perspective would be, do you want to be saying, okay, yes, we'll approve these trailers, but you need to be building more facilities? Do you want to have that conversation with the school district? Or by making it permitted, it means that it's no longer a question that comes to the council? And so that's a fundamental question that you may want to do.
Well,
Are
they
you-
come to the council, they don't come to us today when they put a new trailer.
When they do, site plans do have to come to the council. But by making it a permitted use, it removes that conversation. So again, it's a topic. And to your point, it's probably 20, 30, 40 years before
we never have to have this conversation again.
Right.
Well, we'll be shutting schools down then, just like Orem is.
Yeah.
So at some point, but, and again, those are just things for you to consider.
Councilman Wilden, then Councilman Wadman.
Well, another one, office building, like, I know why we would have that there because of the school district offices and stuff like that, but that's different than in a school. They can just go right in a normal, like, almost any other zone. So I would
They
say,
could build an office building on school property, though.
is that, but it would be attached to the school, so I don't know why we need.
It's attached.
Just like we can say, we can prevent bus lots, we can prevent gas stations, because those are not school, like, because that is a different zone. That's how we were able to put so many parameters on the bus lot currently in Saratoga Springs.
Perhaps the verbiage that we use with recreation centers associated with a school could be added to the office.
Yeah, I think that would make sense, because I wouldn't want the district to say, okay, we're gonna put an office building with dentists. And
Add the phrase associated with the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You could theoretically, at the very top, it would be so long as these are associated with a school and then have it apply to
But
every,
still
across
remove
the
bus
board.
lot and still remove, because
Yep, I would do that at the beginning, just say it has to be, what you're saying, plus,
the gas station and the bus lot removed, but then
Right.
associated with schools for everything else.
So you're saying remove A, H, and N.
And H?
A, H, N.
Yeah.
And then add the phrase, to Wilden's point, add the phrase associated with a school. Kevin?
So the state law really just says that schools and classroom facilities have to be permitted in all zones of the city. The rest of this, none of this has to be permitted in this school overlay zone. It really should default, like if you're having this overlay, it really shouldn't undermine the underlying code, if that makes sense. So the overlay shouldn't permit things that aren't otherwise allowed in that zone. So I don't think this is a good, the way it's drafted, I don't think it's a good ordinance to pass. Unless you're
Can we come
talking
back to it?
specifically
Yeah.
about schools and classroom facilities that do have to be permitted.
So maybe let's bring
That
this back,
case, it's
because
probably okay.
I just noticed commuter light rail stations.
so if it has to be permitted in every zone anyway, the objective here is to give them more opportunity than putting in a school and stuff directly tied to a school?
So an overlay, in my understanding, Kevin can correct me, but an overlay is something that adds to what's existing on the zoning. So we're giving greater opportunity, not greater, but there's some additional.
However,
So
I agree with that. I think it needs to be another layer, but it shouldn't. If I read this, if there's a school overlay zone and a residential zone, all of a sudden there can be a bus lot, there could be a refueling station. You don't,
Sounds like
you
you're
don't
creating a
want that.
problem to something we didn't have a problem with.
I don't think that
So
would
Ken, one thing,
strike those.
because I'm dealing with some citizens now that are dealing with some build out of some schools, right? And they have concerns about the build out and what they're doing. I am, not that I'm anti-school, I'm not saying that, I'm actually pro-school, but I would almost like to see non-permitted uses and list all these. And I'm just asking the staff if we can, if we said non-permitted uses and listed all these, and then if they needed something, they could come to us for an exception. Could we do that, or is that a possible?
Just don't put this overlay on there.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what we're.
Yeah.
Because it has to be allowed anyway. So I don't.
You
These are
can,
things
you
that
can
are
do all
allowed.
that through development agreement like we did with the bus lot. So if they want the rezone, they want the use that's not permitted in
why
that
would-
zone.
I'm okay with that. I'm
can
just wondering
list-
if we could kind of say, the only thing you can do is build a school in there. If you want to do anything more, you got to come to us.
Right, and that's why you don't want to list all these things as permitted use.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
then that takes away your.
Yep,
authority.
ability to make those decisions, yep.
Okay, so I guess I'm seeing two different ways here. So one would be scrap this idea with the overlay and go back to the IC zone, which is what our schools are currently in, and specify, make some notes on certain uses as are particular to schools. And we
But they
can-
already have those rights.
So fundamentally, I think the question is, this is probably too expansive. And so the question is are there things that could potentially happen that we would want to restrict? And maybe we should approach this perhaps from a different thing,
Yeah,
as
we need to
Councilmember
do it
Wadman
different.
was.
Yeah.
Let us take this back and let us come back and talk with you individually a little bit, get your feelings, and then see if and what we should do as far as moving forward.
Well, and I agree with that. I just, if it has to be allowed in every zone anyway, we don't really have a problem right now.
Correct.
So I feel like we're creating something that'll create problem. So I would say just don't bring it back.
Okay.
Like, that's my opinion, because like.
On
at-
this, on the school part, I agree.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The other section, whatever, that's great, the parking, but this, like, unless there's like a real, like, hey, we're solving a problem with this, that someone can demonstrate to us, this is what we're trying to solve, like, let's not screw with code that, sorry, that wasn't a great word. Let's not mess with code that's working.
What is the gateway overlay parking change?
Okay, so I'll go on to that, but just to be clear, the recommendation, at least so far, is that we just scrap the whole idea.
We're
of-
probably going to deny this. We're just going to vote it down, that portion.
Okay, well, I'll move on to the other one. It's a fairly simple fix. So we found as we were looking at gateway overlay developing properties, especially one that we looked at here tonight, is fronting on what may become or is planned to become a freeway. So that's Pioneer Crossing. We don't currently state freeways within our code in regards to gateway overlay
Because Mountain View
requirement.
corridor freeways as well, yeah.
So just adding the word freeways, in other words, one of the examples here is parking between building and certain roadways. Well, ultimately, we're going to have parking between buildings and freeways. Becomes a freeway. So just adding that in there as another one of the roadways, which is regulated.
My only question, is there a distinction between freeway and highway? Kevin?
In our code,
There is in state law.
So those two words can be used
interchangeably.
I
interchangeably?
don't know about, I can check Title 19. I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
Or Flex Lane Road?
Flex Lane.
That's flexers.
Yeah, I don't
It's a
think.
Flexway road.
A flexway road.
Flexway.
A major super arterial.
Autobahn. So
So
are you comfortable with the freeway?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
But is Pioneer Crossing as a flex considered a arterial?
I think it's still trying to define itself. And from a theoretical standpoint, we're not sure yet what it's.
Because I almost think it puts it to a Bangor Highway kind of a designation or.
It really will depend on kind of the future. of-
Words have meanings, Mark. The road cannot be fluid.
21st South going out.
Is
Doesn't,
what it is.
doesn't know what it wants to be yet.
All I know is when it rains, the lines better show up. So if we have to travel
Right
to
now you
Washington
can't see,
State
yeah.
and get their paint,
Washington State.
Mayor, I
It took me
agree.
a second to get that.
But I agree there, yeah.
Okay, are we ready for a motion on that?
I mean,
Perhaps we
I
could
could
say
try.
highways slash freeways.
Chris,
if
I
that
say
works.
deny the second half and just do.
Okay, I will try this. I move to approve business item 4, amendment to Title 19 Land Development Code of City of Saratoga Springs, Chapter 1904, for gateway overlay parking and scratch the rest.
Deny.
Deny the rest for school overlay, city initiated ordinance 25-63.
have a first from Councilman Carn,
Second.
second from Councilman Wilden. Any further discussion? Are we good, Mr. Attorney, on that?
Can we approve half? Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Councilwoman Barton?
Aye.
Wadman?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have business item 5, amendments to City Code Title III.
This, adopting this chapter basically takes what you've adopted in the past as far as the grandma policy. You've actually adopted that years and years ago. Michael might remember, and I guess I should say Councilmember McComber and Mayor Miller might remember that, but it was a long time ago. So this basically takes that and puts it in the city code. It also does a couple other things. It adopts the state statute by reference. It allows the city manager to adjust the retention schedule from time to time as may be needed. And I think that's probably an administrative decision that shouldn't be, the council shouldn't have to get into the details on that. It also expands the time to respond to an appeal from 5, we had 5 days before, now it's 10 days, which is much more reasonable, and actually, by adoption of the state code, it goes to the 10 days, which it should be. It also designates Mark officially as the chief administrative officer when it comes to grandma appeals. So not too much here there's really nothing different than what we've already been doing. Besides the retention schedule, now Mark would determine that based on legal recommendations.
And that's the position of city manager.
Okay. Oh, look at all that power.
I don't want that going with me.
Yeah, the city manager would make that decision. We're gonna, after he's gone, we're gonna
15 years from now, Mark's out.
Dealing with
Mark,
retention
the
records.
city manager now.
Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion unless there's other
I
questions.
move to approve business item 5 as stated on the agenda, ordinance 25-64.
I have a first from Councilman McComber,
Second.
second from Councilman Wadman. Any further discussion? Wadman?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have item 6, consideration for adoption of resolution of the City Council, Saratoga Springs, Utah, declaring its intention to reimburse itself for expenditures incurred in connection with financing all or portion of the cost of a fire station.
Mayor, we need to work on that cardio because you should have gotten that done with one breath and you paused in there in the middle.
I know. Sue would be after me for not practicing.
This
That was like a
this is a reimbursement resolution, as we talked about over the last couple of weeks. When we met with the fire department, we anticipate the need to build an additional fire station here in the city, probably one more beyond that at some point in our future. And this reimbursement resolution basically says we can start the design, we can start engineering, we start doing all those things. And then at the time that we choose funding, if we choose to do it via a bond or something like that, we can reimburse ourselves at that. So it's pretty standard that we would do these things. It's definitely a need that we need for the community, and so we would recommend that we approve this for that future flexibility.
It's done it before on others, so I will entertain a motion unless there's questions.
I'll move that we approve business item 6 as stated on the agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a first from Councilman Wilden, second from Councilwoman Barton. Any other comments? Councilman Carn?
Aye.
Wadman?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Comber? Aye. Barton?
Aye. Did that to me on purpose.
Motion passes unanimously. First Amendment to reimbursement agreement with Clayton Properties.
Jeremy has these next two items.
Yes, thank you. The first is an amendment to an existing agreement to add the sewer line that's going to, that they helped build for getting us off the lift station for Water of the City. It was addressed in the first reimbursement agreement with them, but it didn't have a dollar amount. So we felt to be on the prudent side, we wanted to bring you back the amendment that actually specified the financial amount approving. And we've gone through that pretty thoroughly, like we do all of them, and verified all the costs that they've incurred is consistent and valid. The other one was for a new one for the road, I believe. They helped widen.
So if you recall, they widened Pony Express east of Riverside Roundabout.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess we need two actions for items 7 and 8. So I just described both of them. They're two different resolutions.
Questions?
You can approve
I only have
both.
one question.
I have a comment first, Anthony.
You can approve both of them if you'd like, as long as you call both items.
Councilman Comber and Councilman Carn.
So I just want to give a shout out to our developers, and in this case, I'd like to give a shout out to Oakwood Homes for partnering with the city and using economies of scale, using the ability to have resources on site quicker than what it would take sometimes to mobilize two different groups, and you lose that economy, especially with the sewer line, giving an expanded sewer beyond the capacity that you would be required. Even though you're building a lot of homes, we still needed more capacity. And just for those in the audience, this reimbursement is not paid for by the city. We're not subsidizing development. Future developers will be paying an impact that will then compensate back to the city and to the developer this contractual agreement. So I think it's important to understand that this is more of an upfront, zero-interest loan, and appreciate the developers for doing that for the city and helping to partner and make Saratoga Springs great. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Carn?
My question is number 8, adjacent. All this work was done on the north side of the road. There's a bunch of work on the south side of Pony, Jeremy, that seems to have stalled. And there's been cones out there and blockades. Do you have an update on what's happening there?
Yeah, I think we communicated a little bit on this previously.
Yeah, that was like a couple weeks ago, and I haven't seen a whole lot of
Right, and I'll
progress.
follow up, but at that time, even though it appeared that they were doing a lot of the work at night. And then they
Okay.
were and then they were moving the cone, so the residents, they see, can't vouch day to day, I'm not on there every day. A lot of the work was for a secondary water line that they were building on the south side of the road. Again, that's a upsized water line to help us.
The water line's in, the sidewalks aren't back.
So I can follow up with the inspector.
So my only comment on that is if we could just get again with the contractor that those, if they're not working, they should not be blocking those lanes of
Right.
traffic.
If
We
they're
have a
not working, those
dual lane roundabout.
supposed to be moved off the
Yep.
road, and if
Thank
they're not
you.
complying with it.
Last week, it's been 2 lanes going through, the cones are on the curb.
Good.
Yeah, but
It's
the work has stalled. They haven't done any work.
Okay, I'll follow up. As you know, keeping tabs on contractors is
Yeah,
always a
yeah.
challenge. So
No,
we'll do
no,
our best.
and I live in the area, and so I was helping Chris know that they
Yeah.
did. It has been 2 lanes going through this whole last week.
No, honestly, some of the best feedback we get is from residents that are on the ground. We're running around, and when they let us know that something's going on, that's really helpful so that we can be on the ground. So continue to let us know, and and then I'll pass that information along to the inspector and make sure that they're following the directives they were given, which was, if you're not working, because they were working off hours, because obviously the traffic on Pony, we didn't allow them to do that during the day. But if they're not complying with that, but I'm looking at our GIS and it shows, now that the secondary water line has been completed from the roundabout to that stub entrance, to Lula. So it looks like the work is done, so I'll follow up with our inspector.
Just so you know, they did work during the day. They didn't only do it at night. So it's fine. I mean, we need improvements.
Right, right.
If there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion on items 7 and 8.
I'll move to approve items 7 and 8 as stated on the agenda with the now finalized reimbursement amounts. Resolution R25-48 and R25-49.
Okay, I have a first from Councilwoman McComber,
I'll second it. Oh, sorry.
second from Councilwoman Barton. Any further discussion? Wadman?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
McComber? Carn?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. No closed session. Meeting is adjourned.